Hello everybody, welcome back to another edition of the EcoStruxure Machine Expert training. I'm your host, Leandro Mada, and in this video what we're going to see is the different logic blocks and syntax that we have in the software. So let's go to the presentation. What we're going to see in this module is the different logics, the different blocks and syntax that we have for the PLCs. But I am going to focus only in three languages: ladder, structure test, and CFC. So if we see in the next slide, if we focus only on the logic blocks, we can see the difference on these three languages. So if we select the pen, if we focus on ladder, okay, this is the view of the elements that we have, okay, and we also have the possibility to select enable and enable output on the block. So for this, in order to find these function blocks, we have in the toolbar on the Boolean operators, we can find the AND over here, the OR, and the XOR. If you don't know what is the purpose of this XOR, we can see here the table. So depending on the inputs that we have, these two that must be Boolean, okay, if they are equal, the output would be 0, okay. If the two are false, 0, and if the two inputs are true, the output will be 0. You can see in all the inputs that we have on these function blocks, all of them are Boolean variable, and the output is going to be generated based on the condition that we have, and the output type will be Boolean. Now, if we go to the CFC, okay, we have the possibility to visualize the icons. Okay, it's not mandatory. In this case, it's already enabled. And you have the possibility also to add additional inputs, as you can see over here. And you also have the possibility to add the enable input and enable output on the code. So if we take a look now on the software, we have already created in the past the different function block, different POUs program. Okay, so if we start with ladder, so over here, let's create a new run. And here in the top, you should be able to see here this insert box. So in the insert box, you can call the variable that you want. So if you go over here, just double check, you have OR. Okay, you have the possibility to select that one, okay. And the other way to do this, in case of going over here and then select the variable, is to go to the toolbox. So in the toolbox, you have in the Boolean operators the possibility to add this. So and there we go. So imagine that you want to make a condition to execute something. So this one's gonna be true. Here it's gonna be qfun 2. So imagine that you have, for example, the start is on, and emergency. The emergency is not on, so here you can negate. You can see here the dot, negate, and then if we want more, let me just double check. Probably it's not possible in this one. This is just a quick example how you can create some logic, the and or. So basically the and need to match all the conditions in true in order to get the value in true. Okay, and you have the possibility also to negate the input values. So now if we focus on the CFC, so let's log out, just show you. You can see the symbols are similar, almost the same, but what it changed is that you don't have the ranks. So if we go back to here, CFC, just drag what you want and then type, for example, and you can also negate if you want, not. So for example, if we copy all these variables that we have over here and pasted it over here to be local, for example, if you want to add more input pin here, not, I'm going to add another not over here, and then input, and input. I'm going to add an output over here just to show you how you can work. I'm going to add this, I'm going to put it over here, just to make everything much easier to follow. Just an example how you can do this part, different languages. So start remote over here, stop, emergency, and the start for the inputs. Now if we go to the fan, this is how it works. So you can see here is similar, but you can change the execution order as we saw in the past, or by data flow. You can see how it's going to be the execution. This is the same. The only difference is that instead of using the negation in the input, I just use a function block. You can see over here, if I'm not wrong, you should be able to add this over here, negate. Okay, and you can also negate in the part, if I'm not wrong. Here you can see it's negated, so you will need to negate only in one part in order to make it work. The thing is that probably this point is not easy to read. Probably you're just reading everything and you cannot see it. With this not, you can see that you are going to negate the value, just to have that in mind. So now let's focus in the extractor test. So here, instead of using function blocks, we just need to use the syntax or and or XOR in order to see the values that you can see over here. And instead of the inputs and multiple inputs, we just put everything in additional lines. And if you want to negate one of the inputs, we just need to use the not. Okay, so that's the idea. Now, if we want to make like logic conditions, okay, probably we need to talk about the if syntax. Okay, so the idea of the if is to make a comparison about something, okay, and have a Boolean result, okay, and then execute something that you want. Okay, so we So this is how you can use the if and the logic condition and logic syntax, how to make the comparisons. And here in this case, if you don't want to use, for example, the true, and you know there's going to be only the variable true, there is no need to use the comparison of the Boolean variable. You just assign this variable as is it. So the system will know that that variable in order to proceed with the call must be true. So if we download this, okay, this comparison is already true. So now we need to activate the input, start, and the finance run. So let's continue with. So we have already made the comparison with this part. Okay, we already create a comparison with the ladder. It's going to be different. Okay, and 3D view, create a syntax. So we have already covered all the logic blocks that I want to show you, just to have an idea of the AND and OR and the XOR and how you can use the if in the structure test. So I believe this is all for this part. Thank you very much for watching this video, and I see you on the next one.